And what we'll do is we will start with a roll call. Although I understand we don't have a quorum, we will still listen.
Have everyone stand
I stand corrected. We will start with our roll call, please.
Mayor West. Here. Mayor Abel. Here. Mayor Tuck.
Present.
Supervisor McCarty. Supervisor Hippel.
Here.
Mayor Price. Mayor Alexander. Councilman Green. Mayor Glover. Supervisor Cornwell. Mayor Newman. Here. Mayor Dyer.
Present.
Mayor Pond. Here. Supervisor Shepherd.
Here.
Senator Lucas.
Here.
Senator Mason.
Here.
Delegate Jenkins. Delegate Mullins. Board Member Stant.
Here.
Commissioner Rich.
Here.
Vice President Nelson. That's it.
Thank you. And I want to apologize. I really tried to start on time. I got distracted, talking about the Duke basketball for the Virginia Tech and Cavalier fans. So, with that, we'll go to chair comments.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for coming today for this special meeting. We have a lot of activity today to move forward. There's been a lion's share of work. I'd like to thank Mr. Brett here today, Commissioner Brett, for coming and also meeting with us early last week as we continue to move forward with the development of the Hampton Expressway, coordination of our study efforts, Mr. Chair, moving forward with that. So we have a lot of great activity on that moving forward. And Mr. Chairman, I know you'll have some comments you'd like to follow up on. Just wanted to indicate that we've had a lot of progress on the Hampton Expressway leading up to today's meeting.
Great. Thank you. Yes. I'm discombobulated, I will tell you. You know, again, I'm just thinking about Duke basketball, and I said chair's comments. It should have been the executive director's comments. I didn't do the approval of the agenda. I'm just skipping around things. Going back, the following order of the agenda. So, we need to ask for a motion for approval of the agenda, please.
Motion, please. Second.
We do a voice vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, it's approved. We have a public comment period. I'm not sure if you want to sign up for public comment.
Mr. Chairman, we do not have anyone at this time who would step forward in writing or in request to speak today. Is there anyone in the audience that would be prepared to speak today? Seeing no hands, sir, I'll turn the floor back over to you for the rest of the agenda.
And then I'm going to turn the floor back over to you for the rest of the agenda.
Okay, thank you, sir. Well, before you is action agenda item 5A, which is the minutes of the December 16th, 2021 regular meeting, and also 5B on the consent agenda is the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel right-of-way acquisition. Those items are provided to you with the decision briefs, so they're on the consent agenda, so you can vote on those if you like, sir.
I'd like to ask for a motion to approve consent agenda items.
Motion for approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carry action number 6.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Moving right along with efficiency. Action items involved in item 6, A through the end of the action agenda, which is J, as a follow-on and cascading events that lead us, chair and members of the commission, and how we are going to develop the budget. The budget falls into the 6-year program, as well as an update to the Hampton Roads Express Lane. As I mentioned earlier in my comments, Mr. Chairman, thank you for that opportunity to speak earlier. So we've had a significant amount of work for the Hampton Roads Express lanes moving forward. We have better cost estimates that have been provided by VDOT, thanks to our pre-preliminary engineering investments that we made as a commission to VDOT. Moving forward with that, we also have become more robust in our way of thinking and timing on the second one project of that Hampton Roads Express lane, and then moving forward with that project development budget and then the 6-year program. We also have Mr. William Harrell here today from Hampton Roads Transit. Mr. Harrell has also submitted right on time in accordance with the MOU the 6-year program application for this upcoming year, which also has some streams out into the 6-year program for operations and also for multiple-year funding for a Virginia Beach facility that they currently have under development for construction. All in all, we have following on to that some action items that involve our bond anticipation note opportunity, where we have an opportunity for sufficiencies, as you all know. We stay very prime on where we are in our financing, and also a cash optimization opportunity for our very first bond issuance moving forward and how that will cascade into place. So we have given full details and an exhaustive review of that with Chair Hippel of the Finance Committee here today to report out the activities that you had on the Finance Committee. If you'd like to give us a brief summary of that, and we'll run through the rally.
Certainly will. Good morning, everyone. And we ended up with Tuesday meeting. We had a 3-hour meeting to discuss all this. And I know with our time limit today, we'll move through these fairly quickly. All of them were recommendations from the Finance Committee to this body to be voted on today. I'll go ahead with our first one in our Tuesday, March 15, 2022 Finance Committee meeting. The Finance Committee endorsed the recommendation of the Security Custody Service RFP Evaluation Committee and authorized the Finance Committee Chair to communicate the actions of the Finance Committee and recommend the Commission's approval and authorization of the HRTAC Chair to execute and prepare Security Custody Service agreements with final offer to be announced at the meeting.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair Hippel, on that. And the references to action agenda item 6A alpha, that's the custodial banking services and custody services. Moving forward, that we had 2 finalists that we carried forward as a subcommittee of the commission. In doing that, TD was selected to be the candidate that would be announced and move forward to the next step in the procurement process. So I'll turn the floor over to General Counsel in Galima. If you care to read the motion, Mr. Chair, if there are any questions prior to that, we'll go back over to you.
Any questions? Any comments? Could I ask Mr. Lima to read suggested motion, please?
The motion is as follows. The Commission, 1, approves the award of the Security Custody Services contract to TD Bank, and 2, authorizes the HRTAC Chair to execute their Security Custody Services agreement with the bank.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving forward now, we have agenda item 6B. Item 6B is the bifurcation of the Hampton Roads Express Lane Segment 1 Standard Project Agreement. As I mentioned in my opening remarks to the rally of action items, this is a across the table value of the total Segment 1 project. This being bifurcated and replaced by 2 separate standard project agreements, Segment 1A and Segment 1B. Segment 1A, just for the Commissioner's reference geographically, is the direct connections between the reversible lanes and the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel project as to how that express lanes network will interconnect and work effectively and efficiently. And Segment B is the median shoulder lanes, as Commissioner Bridge has explained to us as well in his presentations, that will run in the reversible segment as well. Chair Hippel, turning the floor over to you, sir, to report out the activities of the Finance Committee on this matter.
Thank you, sir. At our March 15th Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee took action to endorse the recommendations that the Commission, 1, adjust the approved FY 2022, FY 2027 HRTAC 6-year improvement plan for Hampton Roads Express Lanes Network to reflect the specificity of Segment A1 and Segment A2 or Segment 1B projects. Approve the standard project agreement for funding and administration with respect to the Hampton Roads Express Lanes Network, Section A1 and Section 1B, primarily engineering and right-of-way for construction work. And 3, authorize the Finance Committee Chair to communicate the Financial Committee's endorsement and recommendation of the Commission at its next regular meeting. And that will be today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Chair, turn the floor back over to you, sir, to ask the questions, and then Councilor Williams to read the motion.
Any questions or comments? I'd like to ask Councilman Lima to read the suggested motion, please.
Motion is as follows. The commission, one, accepts the recommendation of the finance committee, two, adjust the approved fiscal year 2022, fiscal year 2027 HRTAC 6-year improvement plan for the Hampton Roads Express Lanes Network to reflect the specific segment 1A and segment 1B projects. Three, approves the standard project agreements for funding and administration with respect to the Hampton Roads Express Lanes Network, segment 1A and segment 1B, preliminary engineering and right-of-way for construction work. And four, authorizes the chair to finalize, execute, and deliver the standard project agreements for segment 1A and segment 1B of the Hampton Roads Express Lanes Network to the Virginia Department of Transportation with such changes, insertions, or omissions as may be finalized by the chair with the advice of the executive director and the commission's general counsel.
Thank you. Request a motion and a second for approval.
Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving along, item 6C on your agenda package is the HRTAC FY 2023 Administrative and Project Development Budget. The agenda item includes in your packet a decision brief that provides a description of the action. In summary, for the highlights, it includes the $7,393,839 proposed budget for the Commission's consideration. As explained in detail and discussed at the Finance Committee meeting, this is an uptick for $647,300 from the previous approved budget. Of that, $400,000 is included for a construction engineer, which is a requirement under our TIFIA Alliance, and we're making progress to transition into that for the HRTAC. And also, we have some legal adjustments that we're making to $200,000 and $20,000 for a cost of living increase for staff. Of that, sir, is a summary of the proposed budget before you. I'll turn the floor over now to Finance Committee Chair Dipple to report on the activities. Finance Committee will have to ask questions.
Thanks, sir. At the March 15, 2022 Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee endorsed the proposal of the HRTAC FY 2023 Administrative and Project Development Budget and authorized the Finance Committee Chair to recommend the proposed budget to the Commission and requested the Commission endorse the proposed HRTAC FY 2023 Administrative and Project Development Budget and authorize the Executive Director to conduct a public hearing on the proposed HRTAC FY 2023 Administrative and Project Development Budget.
Any questions or comments? I'd like to ask Councilman Lima to read the motion, suggested motion.
The motion is as follows. The commission, one, accepts the finance committee recommendation, two, endorses the proposed HRTAC fiscal year 2023 administrative and project development budget, and three, authorizes the executive director to conduct a public hearing on the proposed HRTAC fiscal year 2023 administrative and project development budget.
Thank you. Request a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now moving on to 6D, the Hampton Roads Express Lanes Plan of Finance update, which includes the adjusted cost estimates that I referenced in my introductory comments, as well as an updated traffic and revenue analysis, which was part of the analysis required in the determination of the need for the $93.1 million that's included in this plan of finance. The funding analysis and determination of revenue assumptions includes, as you find detailed in the PowerPoint presentation provided to you, and it's provided to the members to see the absolute detail that the Finance Committee went through in that 3-hour meeting. I was discussed in very great detail and had a lot of interaction as well with the members. So really appreciate all of the work that went into that. Having said that, we've moved forward with those adjustments, including in that, and certainly feel very comfortable moving forward with the Finance Committee in that discussion. And I'll turn the floor back over to you, Finance Chair, and we'll talk about the activities in the meeting.
Thank you. At our March 15, 2022 Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee took action and recommended that the Commission approve the proposed HRTAC and the Roads Express Lane Plan of Finance update to include determination there regarding the needs for $93.1 million and and state appropriated act, provided funds and authorize the finance committee chair to recommend to the commission at its next meeting that its approval of such plan, finance, update, and determination. Thanks, sir.
Any questions or comments? I'd like to ask Councilor Blumer to read the recommendation, suggest a motion, please.
The motion is as follows. The commission, one, accepts the finance committee recommendation, and two, approves the proposed HRTAC Hampton Roads Express Lanes plan of finance update, including the determination therein regarding the need for the full $93.1 million in state appropriation act provided funding.
I'd like to request a motion and a second for approval.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving along to action item 6.3. And this is in sequential events leading to the 6-year program update, obviously. The Hampton Roads Transportation Fund Toll Debt Management Plan update is inclusive of the items that you just took action on as we're building out the 6-year program. This information is important for us to move forward with understanding the financing opportunities and options that move forward to actually provide sufficiency of funds to move our project forward during the Hampton Roads Express Lanes. We had a great opportunity and conversation on the Finance Committee, and I'll turn it over to you, Finance Chair Hippel, to talk about the activities that we.
Thank you. At our March 15, 2022 meeting, the Finance Committee took action to recommend that the Commission approve the proposed HRTAC, HRTF Total Debt Management Plan update and authorize the Finance Chair to recommend approval of the proposed HRTAC, HRTF Total Debt Management Plan update to the Commissioner. Thanks, sir.
Any questions or comments? Councilor Blumer, can you read the suggested motion, please?
The motion is as follows. The commission, one, accepts the finance committee recommendation, and two, approves the proposed HRTAC, HRTF / toll debt management plan update.
I request a motion and a second for approval.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving forward now, as these events have built to this moment. Item 6F is the FY 2023 to FY 2028 Plan of Finance update for the Commission. This is our 6-year operating capital program of projects for the highway, regional, and high priority projects. Just being mindful to remind the Commissioners, we have the Hampton Roads Transportation Fund and the Hampton Roads Regional Transit Fund now. So they're two separate 6-year programs tracking two separate funds. So the Highway Fund also includes toll debt, toll and toll revenues, and the sources and uses of those funds as well. We had a great detailed conversation involving our financial advisors, PFM, and of course staff and fund and general counsel as we went through these items. And I'll turn the floor over now to Finance Chair Hippel to talk about the activities of the meeting and their recommendation.
At our March 15, 2022 Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee took action and endorsed the proposal of the FY 2023 to FY 2028 Plan of Finance update, the 6-year operating and capital programs and projects, highway, regional, high priority projects as an update to the HRTAC adopted 2022-2027 financial plan. And number 2, authorize the Finance Committee Chair to communicate the actions of the Finance Committee and to request the Commission to authorize the Executive Director to conduct a public hearing and report back public comment for consideration in the Commission's actions, which is expected to be taken no later than the June 16, 2022 annual organizational meeting.
Any questions or comments? I'd like to ask Councilor Blumer to read the suggested motion, please.
The motion is as follows. The commission, one, accepts the finance committee recommendation, two, endorses the proposed fiscal year 2023, fiscal year 2028 plan of finance update, operating and capital program projects, highway, regional, high priority projects as an update to the HRTAC adopted financial plan, and 3, authorizes HRTAC staff to conduct a public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2023, fiscal year 2028 plan of finance update, 6-year operating capital program of projects, highway, regional, high priority projects as an update to the HRTAC adopted financial plan, to include certain modifications to the region's high priority highway projects and additional revenue based on new or updated information.
I request a motion and a second for approval.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Chair. Chair Tuck, item 6G is almost a duplicate of kind of follow-on, this is parallel. This is the transit program. This is the FY 2023 through FY 2028 plan of finance update for our 6-year operating capital program of projects for our transit regional high priority projects. As I mentioned in my opening comments, Mr. Harrell has submitted on behalf of HRT the 2023 program application, which was included that application and those projects in our proposed 6-year program, and also carry forward some multiple year funding options there as well for the Parks Avenue Garage and Virginia Beach, which is multi-year funding in the future, to show the dedication to move forward with that project in the application, as well as the operating and maintenance of the RTS routes. We're carrying that through not only the 6-year program, but forward into the long-range program as well. So, sustainability of operations and how we program the HRTAC in concert with HRT has been very good and been a very cooperative and enjoyable engagement to see transit at the table with us. Mr. Chair, I turn the floor over now to Finance Chair Hippel to talk about the activities of the Finance Committee.
Okay, on March 15, 2022 Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee took action and endorsed the proposed FY 2023 FY 2028 plan of finance update. The 6-year operating and capital programs of projects, transit, regional high priority projects as an update to the HRTAC adopted 2022-2027 financial plan. And 2, authorize the Finance Committee Chair to communicate the actions of the Finance Committee and to request the Commission to authorize the Executive Director to conduct a public hearing and report back public comments for considerations in the Commission's actions, which actions exempt from being or expected to be no later than the June 16, 2021 annual organizational meeting. Sir.
Any questions or comments? Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, lifting up.
We use 2021, it should read 2022. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay.
Get off my years on that sort of thing.
Any other questions or comments? I'd like to ask Councilor Linda to read the suggested motion, please.
The motion is as follows. The Commission 1 accepts the Finance Committee recommendation. 2 endorses the proposed fiscal year 2023 fiscal year 2028 plan of finance update operating and capital program projects, transit regional high priority projects as an update to the HRTAC adopted financial plan. And 3, authorizes HRTAC staff to conduct a public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2023-2028 plan of finance update 6-year operating and capital program projects, transit regional high priority projects as an update to the HRTAC adopted financial plan to include certain modifications for the region's high priority projects and additional revenue based on new or updated information.
I request a motion and a second for approval.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Chair Tuck. Moving forward, item 6H, as I mentioned in my introductory comments, the Commission, staff, and also financial advisors, council have always been looking for ways to observe savings back to the Commission and how we manage and issue our debt. The authorization of H is to issue up to $501 million of additional bond anticipation notes to refund and extend the HRTF Series 2019A bond anticipation note. This includes Resolution 2022-01. This activity provides present value savings to the Commission, as we were described and discussed at length with the Finance Committee, where High-Rise Bridge is the last of our 6 projects that fall under the bond anticipation note that was issued in 2019A. During that series, there's been an extension of time necessary to complete the High-Rise Bridge, which puts us into a situation where we either allow the current ban that was issued in 2019 to mature and conclude this summer, or roll this ban into a new ban that will give us an opportunity for some savings and not exercise our TIFIA language of revenue. at a higher interest rate. As you know, short-term debt is more cost-effective than long-term debt. So it gives us an opportunity to roll out another 15 months, for example, of short-term debt and then exercise the long-term credit indenture known as the TIF line moving forward. We have with us Bond Counsel Baloo. Bond Counsel Baloo, do you have any comments to this item? I know this one isn't going to be as effective on your side. On your comments as what's followed.
Well, no, and Mr. Page, Highway Chair Tuck, Finance Committee Chair Hippel, Executive Director Page. In 2019, the commission was able to utilize a financing structure to, as Mr. Page said, differentiate between the long-term rate and the TIF loan agreement, and that provides long-term construction financing. But if you delayed that draw by virtue of doing a bond anticipation note financing at a shorter rate, at a lower interest rate due to a shorter term, the commission at that time saved an estimated $10 to $15 million present value savings. Because the completion date of the project has been extended a little bit, there is the opportunity to, in effect, continue with that structure. And so the resolution 2022-01 would in effect have a very similar transaction as was used in 2019 to extend or roll those short-term financing notes, the bond anticipation notes. And the resolution itself uses the standard documentation that you have seen before with the so-called HRTAC financing documents. It uses the master indenture, the supplemental indenture for each issuance of bonds. It approves the distribution of an offering document and delegates to the executive director the authority to select the underwriters and then also execute the final closing, subject, of course, to the parameters in the documents. And those are that the maximum amount of the bands would be $501 million. They must produce at least $100,000 present value savings. So this is a transaction that would not occur unless there's some incremental economic value and benefit to the community. And then the bands would have a maximum maturity of no greater than 24 months from their date of issuance. So I'll be happy to go through the provisions of Resolution 2022-01 and the various documents if you'd like, but that in a nutshell is what the legal side of the transaction looks like.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Baloo, on that. We have questions from the floor, sir. I'd like to turn it next to the Finance Committee Chair. Comments on reporting out.
Thank you. At March 15th, 2022 Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee took action and endorsed Resolution 2022-01 and to authorize the Finance Committee Chair to communicate to the Finance Committee endorses and to the Commission at its March 17th, 2022 special meeting.
Any other questions or comments? This will be a roll call vote, so I'll ask Councilor Luna to resubmit the motion, please. Okay.
I'll read the motion.
Oh, that's okay. Right, that's what we do.
Yes.
Okay.
The motion is as follows: the Commission, 1, accepts the Finance Committee recommendation, and 2, approves Resolution 2022-01.
I was okay. All right, let me ask for a motion and a second. Thank you. And now we'll do a roll call vote. I was just trying to tell you, we're going to do a roll call vote.
They're not doing it anymore.
Mayor West,
Yes.
Mayor Abel,
Aye.
Mayor Tuck,
Aye.
Supervisor McCarty, Supervisor Hippel,
Aye.
Mayor Price,
Aye.
Mayor Alexander, Councilman Green, Mayor Glover, Supervisor Cornwell, Mayor Duman, Mayor Dyer,
Aye.
Mayor Pond, Supervisor Shepherd, Senator Lucas,
Aye.
Senator Mason,
Aye.
Delegate Jenkins,
Aye.
Delegate Mullen.
Motion carries.
Okay, very good. All right. Oh, thank you, Councilor. Turn my mic on. Item I is the authorization to defease and redeem up to $486 million of Series 2018 A bonds from available funds and related actions. This is Resolution 2022-02. And also, sir, under the decision bridge, you'll also find the authorization to issue up to $590 million HRTAC Series 2022A senior lien bonds to fund certain HRBT project costs. And that's resolution number 2022-03. As my introductory comments about cost savings and the ability to take advantage of some very good low interest rates. We've been working with our general counsel, bond counsel, financial advisors, and also the finance committee. So I'd like to turn the floor over to Councilor Baloo to hit the upsides of what you would like to say about these two actions, and then turn the floor back over to, then again, to Chair, Finance Chair Pepple for his comment report.
Thank you, Executive Director Page. And again, this is an opportunity to target some interest rate savings. The Commission currently has in plan, has in hand the financing it needs for the first 6 projects and HRBT. And in particular, with regard to the HRBT, the future funding for that project has both a debt component with borrowings both in the public markets and through our financing friend and partner, TIFIA, administered by a federal agency of the Department of Transportation. And the other component of the financing plan for the HRBT is PAYGO. And the Commission presently has in the bank more than $1 billion of funds for that and other purposes. Now, in 2018, that was one side of the transaction. Let me set the stage with the Commission's first issuance of bonds, the 2018 bonds, at approximate interest rates of 5%. So relatively high in today's market. And so the Commission can achieve a lower overall debt service profile by taking some of that money in the bank and paying off those 2018 bonds, much like you would pay off your mortgage. That will in effect provide for those bonds to no longer be outstanding, but then the Commission could utilize its normal financing program to issue a new series of bonds to fund the HRBT project. So in effect, using today's interest rates, you have prepaid higher rate bonds, and then later on you have issued lower rate bonds to replace that cash. Now these are two separate and legally distinct actions. For various legal reasons, there needs to be a separation in time and the satisfaction of other legal situations in order to make sure that these are distinct. So the sequence of that would be step 1, and this is embodied in Resolution 2022-02, would be the prepayment of the 2018 debt. And you do that by setting up what's called a defeasance escrow. Defeasance being a fancy word for we're going to put that money aside and we're going to dedicate it only to paying off the 2018 debt. We're then going to wait the appropriate period of time, and I like to see 30 days between the closing of the escrow and the closing of the other bond issues. So things can happen during that time period. There could be interest rate changes, and as all of you are aware, the market is somewhat volatile. So step 2 is issuing that new set of bonds, and that's the transaction that is embodied in Resolution 2022-03. When PFM looked at various financing alternatives in order to achieve interest rate savings with respect to the 2018 bonds, there are other strategies. One, you can wait until the prepayment date, which is 2028. That is one option, which is in effect to do nothing and let's see what rates are again. you could do what's called a taxable advance refunding, but that will be issuing your new bonds at a relatively higher tax exempt or taxable rate. And so the PFM recommendation was to do what this two-step transaction is called the cash optimization. And the first estimate, based on March 7, I believe, interest rates, was that this could provide as much as $60 to $70 million of present value savings were this done. Now, of course, interest rates are going to change. Interest rates are going to change when you do step one of the transaction and buy the defeasance escrow, that prepayment escrow. And of course, they'll be different when you execute the transaction for the new money, 2022 bonds. So those, that is why the finance committee had a fulsome hour-long discussion on this. We went through all the permutations and the risk and the different alternatives, and it was the endorsement of the finance committee to proceed with these transactions. So I am happy to walk through first Resolution 2021-02, and then Resolution 2021-03. I believe there will be separate action items, and however it will be. All right. So the first one is 2021-02, establishes the prepayment mechanism for the 2018 bonds. The parameters on that, make sure I got them here, would be that this would be authority granted only for the rest of the current calendar year. It would be authority that would terminate on 12/31. The maximum amount of 2018 bonds that would be prepaid is $486 million. The maximum amount of HRTF available cash to be dedicated to that would be an amount not to exceed $625 million. You may ask why those numbers are different. That's because the dollars have to be deposited into that prepayment escrow fund and then generate sufficient interest and principal payments all the way through 2028. So that's just an application of the bond act. And then the resolution approves the financing documentation. Relatively simple for this. It is an escrow agreement and then the appropriate notices to the bond market information. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm synthesizing the PowerPoint that was in your materials, the decision brief, and the resolution all at once. So if I move too fast, please ask any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, sir. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. This will be my last one, but because we're going to pull these apart, or we'll put them together into this, and then council will pull those apart when we do the motion. I want to thank, before I get into this, I want to thank my committee for all your hard work, especially the other day, everything we had to do out there, and the sitting and waiting and figuring out questions and all that. Great questions. You've got a great committee that's looking to save every dollar, and staff and all the members behind the scenes that have been working with us have done everything they can to make sure that we save as much money and put it back in the roads as we possibly can. So great job. Hats off to all y'all's hard work. Thank you very much. At our March 15th Finance Committee meeting, the Finance Committee is expected to take action and one, endorse resolution 2022-02 and 2022-03, and two, authorize the Finance Committee Chair to communicate to the Finance Committee endorsements of the Commission at the March 17th, 2022 special meeting.
Okay. Questions or comments?
Just a comment.
Yes.
Just as a long-term member of the Finance Committee, I would like to thank everybody for their participation. Sorry I could not make the 15th meeting due to a scheduling conflict, but I'd like to assure the committee members of the talent and the amount of work that goes into a meeting like this. Our counselors, bond people are extremely bright, and I just appreciate the savings that you're anticipating, and thank you for the committee's work.
Well, Councilor Goodman, should we do the suggested motion, please?
Yes, and we're going to take these two resolutions as separate roll call actions. So the first motion would be the commission, one, accepts the finance committee recommendation, and two, approves resolution 2022-02.
Request a motion and a second for approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Mayor West,
Yes.
Mayor Rabel,
Aye.
Mayor Tuck,
Aye.
Supervisor McCarty,
Aye.
Supervisor Hippel,
Aye.
Mayor Price,
Aye.
Mayor Alexander, Councilman Green,
Aye.
Mayor Glover, Supervisor Cornwell, Mayor Duman,
Aye.
Mayor Dyer,
Aye.
Mayor Pons, Supervisor Shepherd,
Aye.
Senator Lucas,
Aye.
Senator Mason,
Aye.
Delegate Jenkins,
Aye.
Delegate Hall.
Motion carries.
The second motion reads as follows. Commission, one, accepts the finance committee recommendation, and two, approves resolution 2022-03.
Request a motion and a second for approval.
Motion for approval?
Second.
Roll call.
Mayor West,
Yes.
Mayor Rabel,
Aye.
Mayor Tuck,
Aye.
Supervisor McCarty,
Aye.
Supervisor Hippel,
Aye.
Mayor Price,
Aye.
Mayor Alexander, Councilman Green,
Aye.
Mayor Glover,
Aye.
Supervisor Cornwell, Mayor Duman,
Aye.
Mayor Dyer,
Aye.
Mayor Pons,
Aye.
Supervisor Shepherd, Senator Lucas,
Aye.
Senator Mason,
Aye.
Delegate Jenkins,
Aye.
Delegate Muller.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members of the commission. This concludes all of our action items, Mr. Chair. We do have provided in the packet information items 7A and 7B, which is the HRTAC monthly financial report and also the project update. May also call to attention, sir, under 7C, the announcement of the HRTAC regular meeting on April the 21st, 2022 at 12:30 p.m. in this room in person. Thank you, sir. Back to you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank everyone for your sacrifice and being here for this special meeting. Especially want to thank General Assembly representatives for being present, and also to welcome Commissioner Brent. I know that things are not finalized, but I think you've done a great job in the time you served as Commissioner. At least the time I've gotten to know you, and look forward to your continued service. With that, we are adjourned.